The dinner rush at Harper's Diner was supposed to be calm that Thursday evening, but chaos always finds its way when arrogance walks through the door, and tonight it arrived in the form of 3 local bullies, Trent, Mason, and Kyle, spoiled sons of wealthy businessmen who treated the town like their playground and everyone in it like disposable pieces. They swaggered in loud, laughing, kicking chairs out of their way as if performing for an invisible audience, and their eyes fell quickly on the new waitress, Lily, a shy young woman barely 19, working her first job to support her sick mother. As she approached their table with her notepad trembling in her hands, Trent smirked and deliberately spilled his drink across the floor, snapping his fingers for her to clean it while his friends burst into laughter. She bent down in silence, her cheeks burning with shame, until Kyle extended his foot and shoved her shoulder, making her fall completely. The diners gasped, but no one dared to interfere, at least, not yet. In a quiet corner booth near the window sat a woman in a plain gray hoodie, her expression unreadable, her presence almost invisible, like a shadow woven into the atmosphere. Her name was Ava Rourke, a calm storm the world rarely saw brewing, a woman whose past was buried under classified ink and whispered rumors, because Ava Rourke was not an ordinary customer, she was a retired Navy SEAL, one of the few women to ever complete the program, a ghost of a warrior who once operated behind enemy lines but now simply wanted a quiet meal. But when the bullies laughed again, this time calling Lily pathetic and weak, Ava's eyes lifted, sharp as a blade leaving its sheath. She stood slowly, walked toward them without a trace of fear, and said in a soft voice that somehow commanded every soul in the room, "Apologize. Now." Trent scoffed, Mason rolled his eyes, and Kyle, the loudest of the 3, leaned back and sneered, "And what if we don't? You gonna cry for her?" But Ava didn't blink. She stepped between them and Lily, helping the young waitress up gently before turning back with the kind of cold calm only a trained warrior could hold. Kyle pushed her shoulder, expecting her to stumble, but Ava didn't move an inch. The diner fell silent. Suddenly, Trent, embarrassed by the attention, pulled out his phone and dialed 911, shouting dramatically, "Yeah, cops? There's a crazy violent woman threatening us. Come now." His friends hooted, convinced they'd humiliate her publicly. Ava didn't defend herself. She simply crossed her arms and waited as Lily whispered, "You didn't have to get involved, they're dangerous." Ava answered softly, "So is silence." Minutes later, red and blue lights flashed through the windows. 2 officers stepped inside, Officer Daniels and Officer McBride, both familiar with the bullies' antics but bound by protocol. "Ma'am, we received a call saying you assaulted these men," Daniels said hesitantly. Ava responded calmly, "I didn't touch anyone." But the bullies immediately started fake crying, pointing fingers, one claiming she shoved him, another insisting she threatened their lives. The officers, concerned but unsure, approached Ava with handcuffs ready. Just then, Lily stepped forward, voice shaking but determined, telling them exactly what happened, how Ava protected her, how the bullies harassed her, how they lied. But Trent interrupted, yelling, "She's lying. She's covering for her." He reached out aggressively toward Lily as if to shut her up, and that was the moment Ava's training snapped from dormant to active. In one fluid motion faster than anyone could register, she stepped between him and Lily, gently guiding Lily behind her while her other hand intercepted Trent's wrist mid-air, twisting it just enough to freeze him in pain without breaking anything. The officer's eyes widened. Her stance, her precision, the sharp discipline behind every movement, this was no ordinary civilian. Daniels lowered his hand slowly. "Ma'am, who exactly are you?" Ava released Trent and said calmly, "Former Navy SEAL. ID is in my wallet." Shock washed across the officers' faces as they checked her identification, confirming what seemed impossible. The bullies' smirks melted instantly. Their confidence collapsed like sand in rain. McBride turned toward them, his expression darkening. "You 3 filed a false police report. That's a crime. And assaulting an employee is another." The diner erupted into whispers as the color drained from the bullies' faces. Trent stuttered excuses, Mason tried to blame Kyle, and Kyle dropped to his knees, begging desperately, "Please. We didn't know who she was. Just let us go." But Ava stepped closer, her gaze steady, not vengeful, just resolute. "You shouldn't treat people with respect because of who they are, but because of who you should be." Those words sank into the room like sacred truth. The officers arrested the bullies on the spot, finally holding them accountable for years of cruelty. Lily burst into tears, hugging Ava tightly, whispering thank you over and over as the entire diner applauded the quiet woman who stood against injustice without hesitation. Ava simply placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder and said, "You're stronger than you think. Don't let anyone make you believe otherwise." As she walked out of the diner, passing the police car where the bullies now cried and begged pathetically, she paused just long enough for Trent to meet her eyes. "Next time," she said softly, "respect people before life makes you regret not doing it." And with that, Ava disappeared into the night calm, composed, a guardian the world rarely deserved but desperately needed. The diners who witnessed the moment recorded everything, posting it online, calling her the silent SEAL who stood up for the helpless without seeking recognition. And as the story spread, inspiring millions, one message kept appearing beneath every upload: if you love real-life justice stories like this, make sure you subscribe for more.